All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on a Thursday, a little bit earlier than usual. Yeah, and that is because we have a guest today, folks. It's over there in Ireland, and at the time zone. If I had him come on a regular slot, it'd be 2 in the morning for him. So I always try to make it a little bit better, easier for our guests. So that's why we're hitting it up a little bit earlier tonight. Still prime time, really, for us here in the U.S. I guess, at least for most of us, except those folks on the West Coast. It's still in the afternoon, but that's okay. The East Coast, it's 6 p.m. and we are live. So it's going to be a great interview. This is our guest today. His name is Ben Nelson. He's the protege of Ricky Henry. If everybody remembers Ricky, our very first guest here on NWF Forward, he was been his mentor, and we're going to talk all about that. And it's going to be a great conversation. So as always, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to bring them in. I'll be monitoring all that if you have any questions as we go, and should be a great interview. I'm really looking forward to it. As you know, with NWF Rewind, we look back at our history, but NWF Forward, it's all about the future, and I like to bring in guests that are just starting out in the business, young, kids/teens that are getting involved at an early age, and which I think is great. And so this show is all about giving them the spotlight and see what it's like for them and what their journey's like, at this in this day and age. As you know, wrestling has definitely evolved, and so it's fascinating to learn how it is for them at such an early age. And so that's what we're gonna find out today as we bring in our guest. So without any further ado, let's bring in our guest here, ladies and gentlemen. He's all the way from Northern Ireland. Please welcome in here. I guess he's tag team as well, Dead Gorgeous, and it was his idea. Ben Nelson. Welcome in, Ben.
Thank you.
Hey, great to have you here. It's any friend of Ricky Henry's is a friend of mine. So, welcome in.
Yes, thank you.
Ricky was our very first guest, as you heard me say, and I shouldn't say that. He was our first guest on this platform, Forward, because I had a few others from the United Kingdom and stuff, but when we were still on the Rewind show. But and I remember when he was on with us, Ricky had mentioned that he had mentioned you that they're becoming mentors for new people coming in. He was your mentor. Is that right?
Yeah. He is my mentor. Yeah.
And now you're a bit older. Like you're what, a year older than Ricky?
A few months older, yeah.
A little bit older. So what is it? Let me ask. What's it like having a younger mentor? Or do you not even think about it?
I honestly don't think about it because he's been like doing it so much longer than I have.
Yeah.
So like having someone who's basically like another version of me in the same position that I'm in, it's just really cool. Like it helps so much.
Sure. And he's been a good help for you getting started and everything, and
yeah, massive help.
Yeah. Well, let's before we get into all that, let's talk about the very beginning. When did you first get interested in professional wrestling, as far as you can remember?
So I say it's about 2016. So there's an 8-year gap between me and my older brother. So he started way earlier than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him sitting me down in 2016 and being like, just watch this. And it was whenever Roman Reigns was in the ring and all the wrestlers were like up on the ramp before the Royal Rumble. And it was just like, ever since then, like that moment's always stuck with me because it's the first time I watched it. And that Royal Rumble really stuck with me because I loved Dean Ambrose at the time. I thought he was great.
Now, 2016, was that around the time of the Shield and all that?
That was, I think it's just a bit after.
Yeah, or just after that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it was kind of Roman Reigns in that Royal Rumble, huh? That's what kind of, and like when you seen that, were you like, I want to do this?
I don't think around that time, but I think definitely as I got a little bit older, I was like, I love this. I want to be able to do this when I'm older.
Sure.
And it definitely drove me to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you then, how did you find out about Northern Ireland Professional Wrestling and the training program and all that?
So it was only last year that I started. I've only been in it for a year, and it was my birthday, and I was like, you know what? I've got money. I want to go spend it. I want to see what I can do. So I thought I could go down and search it. Like I searched up wrestling in Northern Ireland, and there's a lot of places that were closed, unfortunately. But Nathan got back to me through email, and the rest is history.
So he said, "Yep, we're training. We train on these days." And
Yeah.
now, did you start out in the junior training or did you start out in the adult training?
I started out in the adult because I was 16. It's usually
Okay,
16 and over. I think Ricky
sure,
was an exception because
right.
Nathan just wanted his money, which is
I know
always good to hear.
he's told us the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, so you kind of went right into the adult classes then and everything, and so now how old are you exactly right now?
I'm 17 now.
So you're 17, and and when did you start training? How long ago was that? When did you join up?
I think about this time last year.
It's about a year ago.
Yeah.
So you would have been 16 at that point, right? Right?
Yeah.
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 And then how long did you train? Did you have to train until you were finally being able to get a match?
Well, my first match was in Portugal in February. We all went over for a trip, and I was booked on the show for the Rumble. So I think it's about 7 months, maybe.
And that was your first
My first
time
ever
in.
like lock at the match. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to that moment in time. What was it like for being the very first time entering that ring in front of a crowd?
Honestly, I think the bit I remember most was not even going out yet. I was behind the curtain and I was like shaking,
Yeah,
like I was so scared. But I was like, it was just the adrenaline because the crowd were so up for it. So as soon as I got out there, like everything just went away and like it just all became natural to me.
sure.
And
A-
it was just surreal, surreal.
And who did you go against in that match?
So there was a Portuguese guy called Abreu. He's a wrestler.
Mhm.
There was Richie from SOS. He's an English guy, and Kilroy from Spain. And then Nathan came into the Rumble, and we teamed up a little bit, and that was really good fun.
Okay, so that's right. This is a Royal Rumble, so it's a little different. Yeah. Um, okay, so yeah, and then but still, I mean, first time to be. And how many people would you guess were there, roughly?
It was like a small pub, so it was like there was no seats. It was everyone was around the ring,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'd say there's about 100, maybe 200 there.
Sure. Yeah, those kind of size crowds are fun. I mean, they're energetic. They get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And yeah, so um, and then that was the first time. And then when was your first match? Then when did you have your first match in NIPW, like at one of the house shows or whatever that Nathan
So that
does?
was Pure Filth, the one that we're gonna look at later.
Okay, so that was
That was
from there.
a wee tag match. Yeah, that was a great match.
Yep. And I haven't even DD Crooks. I have not even talked to him yet. Like he's slated to come on Keaton's show, Kayfabe with Keaton on Sundays. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. But you know, I understand he's a real nice guy, but his character is so. I mean, he's just that guy you love to hate. He's
Exactly. Yeah.
so good at
When
it.
he gets into character, like it's great. Like my
Yeah,
granny, she actually came to a few of our shows, and she loves like just booing him. She just loves hitting him. It's really funny. Like
yeah. No, he's good. He's very good at that, at the heel role for sure. I can't even picture him as a face.
no, I don't think it would work. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. But yeah, we have footage, you guys, that we're going to show of Ben, and like I said, if you guys anybody has any questions, feel free to ask questions. I'm going to continue to ask questions even as we watch the footage. But like I said, I don't feel free to chime in, anybody, if you have questions too. Um, so now your brother, has he been doing this just as long, or did he start before you?
So he's been doing it just as long. I've actually had a session over him. So if anything, I'm the more experienced one. But yeah, it was great.
So yeah, but you guys started together then. Now he's been into wrestling as well, though, right? And he's 8 years older, but
Yeah, he
yeah,
he he was into it like years ago. Like whenever he's playing like the PS2, playing SmackDown versus Raw, that sort of stuff.
sure. Speaking of questions from our crowd, let's take one right now. I'm I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Farah McBride says, "Who was his greatest inspiration?" Talking about you. It's like
Yes,
what
so
was it? Was it we talked about not Seth Rollins, but what's his name in the
Dean
Royal Rumble?
Ambrose.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose. And would that be your biggest inspiration?
I think more recently it would be the Miz.
The Miz?
because like no, like her learning his story and what he had to go through, and like him being a two-time Grand Slam champion and having as many losses as he does, like it is a true like crazy story.
Sure. Yeah, and that's all on the cover, right? I mean, what you realize when you get in the business is it's not about win-loss record. I mean, there are guys who spent more time counting the lights than anything, but yet they're the ones that sometimes make the match. So
Yeah,
it's like, it's just because you don't get the pinfall or you don't have that luck, that great, wonderful looking career that everybody can see.
yeah,
I mean, the real talent is just being able, and this is being able to sell for your opponent, and your opponent doing the same for you, and having a great match in the end. So
yeah. The main thing is making your opponent look as good as they can look. So yeah,
yep. I mean, that's always the case. Even with us back in the day when we were formerly not even trained in the beginning, we even had that concept.
mm-hmm.
So it's like that really is what professional wrestling is all about. The only people who kind of lost sight of that really were the crazy backyarders in the 90s. They went out down this avenue of how much pain can they inflict to one another, and that was their big thing. Like, who can take the most pain, and that
Yeah.
so gets away from the basis of what pro wrestling is all about.
It just kind of like it's a different type of wrestling. I think everyone's into their own type of wrestling. It's
Sure.
not my cup of tea, like, but
No. I mean, it's like you said, it's a form of entertainment, but it's not. I don't know. My opinion is they kind of just lose sight of the definition, really.
yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah. So I tell you what, we're gonna keep talking, but I'm gonna start playing some footage here as well. We're gonna watch some footage of Ben in the ring, and we'll keep asking questions, and feel free to chime in as well, everybody. And let me know if the audio's too loud or too quiet. Want to make sure we can hear us still. So I think that's a pretty good volume right there. So where is this at, Ben? What are we watching here?
So this is Portaferry. This is in April, I think, of this year. And it was a great crowd. It's one of the best crowds like NXT had at the time. And yeah, it was a great crowd because my family was there. Like my whole family were there, so it was like they really got into it.
Was this the same show that that Ben and Canary Kid, or not Ben, Canary Kid and John had their match?
So this was Canary and Ricky. No, Canary and Ricky. Canary and Rocky Star.
Oh, Rocky Star, yeah. Because I know we watched a match from Portaferry with him. I was wondering if it was the same one. It was that one. Yeah, we watched that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys getting into the crowd, and so did Nathan, like, did you guys just know to interact with the crowd and get them behind you like this, or is this something you were kind of trained on in training?
I mean, it was like something that was brought up in training, but we're never like trained on to do it specifically.
Yeah.
So it was all just like coming natural, like just whatever you feel like doing out there, or whatever your gut feeling is, do it.
Yep. I'm looking to see if you guys got wrestling boots yet. Are those boots or are those just wrestling shoes?
Yeah, so those are wrestling boots. Those are
boots.
They're just covered up by the velour, unfortunately.
Okay. Now, did you go down the route? I know now you get them two ways. You can get them with real leather, or you can get the cheaper versions that don't have the real leather. Where out did you go?
I think we went with the real leather. Yeah.
Real leather? Yeah. Yeah, it has that. That even makes them feel more legit, right?
Yeah. That's great.
Now speaking of DD Crooks, there he is there.
Yeah.
So is that the match for what? Yeah, that's right. It's going to be the Pure Filth against you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he is such a natural, like, heel. He's so good at being the bad guy. It's great to watch.
Oh, yeah. And when you have a heel that does his job like this, it makes the match so much smoother because he gets the crowd.
Makes it easier for us to get the crowd behind us.
Yep. I've always said it's easier to be a heel than it is a face because you can get the crowd to hate you pretty easy. But if the crowd don't like you, sometimes they don't. That can, there's nothing you can do about it, unless the heel's,
unfortunately not.
Especially if the heel's not doing a good job,
No.
But not the case here, huh?
Yeah, no, I think Dylan did a great job. Didi did a great job at just getting the crowd to hate them, because that was a poster that my sister had made,
That he ripped up there.
and he just ripped it up. And I
Yeah.
thought, like, when we were in the ring, me and Jordan were like nearly laughing, because it's just, we didn't expect it. It was funny,
Yeah.
but it's just a great way to get it.
Sure. You know, I always say, like Ricky reminds me of Sean Waltman, but you kind of remind me of a Marty Jannetty a little bit. You
Yeah,
have
I've
that
got that a
hair
lot. I've got that a
and
lot.
yeah,
Hmm.
kind of the look. Yeah, a little
And
bit
I'll take
Midnight
that. Yeah,
Rockers there.
it's an honor to be compared to him. Like,
And then yeah, I mean those. Look, Sean, uh, his partner Shawn Michaels, you know, he went on to become big, but Marty,
hmm
they, you know, when they were when they were the Midnight Rockers, they were solid.
yeah,
Yeah.
Was a great, fantastic wrestler.
Yep.
I love this look. Like, I love, like, the tassels and the gear and stuff. I think it
Hmm.
looks so well.
Yeah.
I'd love to get some of that. Like,
And that was a pretty cool angle when they had Shawn Michaels turn on him.
yeah,
So Ricky's pretty convinced that the reason Didi Crooks likes that got this whole singlet and stuff is because he loves to throw the strap down, you know, during the match and
yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
doing the whole. Well, I guess Kurt Angle did it. Jerry
Yeah,
Lawler
yeah.
used to do that. Yeah.
The singlet suits him, like, it does. It's just the gimmick.
Sure. Man, look at the tattoos on this guy, huh?
I know. That's Sage Valentine. He's a
Sage.
good lad.
And if I'm right, that's Sage. Is that was Didi Crooks his mentor?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they just stuck together, really, and then me and Jordan really had the idea of becoming a tag team. And I was in training the night, and even me and Ricky were talking about, like, we'd be a great tag team.
Now you had a match with Ricky. Has your brother had a match with him too?
Yeah, that's where I cost him the title.
Oh, that's where it was Jordan. Okay. And
Yeah,
were you the one? You were the one trying to hand a chair then.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I did have a match with Ricky after this match. I was the the show after this one, I think it was. Yeah,
Did that go good for you?
yeah, it went well. He hit me with a really good super kick. Like,
Yeah.
got me. I didn't know
Didn't
where I
tap you at
was.
all? Did you connect a little bit or?
He connected well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked good.
Super kicks are hard to fake. I
Yeah,
mean, you're
but
just
they're
basically.
great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We had a guy in our league that loved doing the super kick, and I swear he hit people, but guys he did it to tell me that they never got touched. So, but when you watch the video, it's like, how did he not?
Yeah, Ricky was great at them. Like,
Yeah.
he just is picture perfect. Like, it is just how, it's unbelievable how good he is at them.
Yeah. And everybody's got always eventually you get something you're really good at, and it's your kind of your signature. Have you found a move that you really like that you feel you do real well?
I think just a Hurricane Rana. I can,
Or-
like, easily jump up onto someone's shoulders.
Yeah.
I do it a lot in my match with Jordan, because I figured out I could do it before the match. I was like, we'll go for it, and yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of ran with it.
it's one of those newer moves. We never had them back in our day. But yeah, that's the thing that people have to realize is, you know, old school was totally different. Like today, wrestling has just really evolved. There's still old school moves like that,
Yeah, yeah,
but there's much more, and which is why I'm glad you guys are getting proper training and doing this the right way. You know, getting involved. You know, with
yeah,
somebody who knows what they're doing. You know, not trying to do, you know, self-teach, which I don't think you could really do anymore, and God forbid going to the backyard stuff. You
I know, I know. It is difficult. I think if you didn't really have training, because training also gives you, like, those ties to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Connections
it
and
would be
stuff.
very difficult. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Like, that's how I'm able to go on to England and go to other countries, because of Nathan. Like, he opens up those opportunities.
Well, let's talk about that. So, you were telling me before the show started that you were part of that tour where you got to go to London, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
So you went to this kind of this little, what, 4 day, 5 day stretch where you had, was it matches pretty much every night?
yeah. Matches every night. I think there's one or two nights that had two matches on the shows.
And some of these are pretty big crowds that I remember
Yeah,
seeing.
some of them were good, and then some of them were unfortunately a bit small. I think there was just
Right.
one or two small ones, but the crowd were always into it. Like,
And that must have, I mean, that was quite an experience, right? I mean, what was it like?
yeah, it was great. It was the traveling for me was the worst bit about it because it was just you're so tired all the time.
Sure.
But I really enjoyed it because it's great. Like it's great experience, and if you wanna make it in the business, and traveling's one of the biggest things.
And I imagine you made some connections then. You have some people you know now, and so maybe there'll be another future possibility to do some more stuff.
Yeah, yes.
Mhm.
There's definitely a few interesting things that happened. I got to meet a guy called Alan Lee Travis. He was really nice. He was great. He like mentored me and just kind of told me loads of different things. And Tom Fulton, I had a really good match with him. I really enjoyed that match. So it was great.
And this was like, was this one of the first times you were like kind of in the ring with strangers, like people you're not normally in the ring with, first time?
Yeah. So it's the first matches that I've had without like people from my training group. If you get me.
Right.
So every match I had was against someone that I knew, but
So
not.
how did that go? Was the communication okay in the match and everything? No
Yeah,
blunders
communication
or
went really well. It was just, I think I was more nervous myself. I think
yeah.
you always would be, but I think it went really well and I had no problems. Yeah,
Yeah, it's always, I mean, even though they train universally the same, lots, you're learning the same stuff, but when you go in the ring with somebody that you haven't necessarily went through your training program, it's like there are going to be
yeah,
maybe some slight variations here. And am I going to, you're always, I guess the big concern is, are you going to have a blunder? Are you going to mess up a spot, right?
yeah.
So,
Well, I try not to think about that too much, but yeah, it is a worry. But then you can learn a lot more off other people as well.
right.
I think that's the big thing for me. I'm always there to learn.
I like that. Taking on both of them here.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. And, not only that, but when you do have a mess up, and it happens, when we had them, we just we would work right. We just work right through it. Make it look
yeah.
like it
Keep
was
on moving.
intended.
Yeah.
You know, I used to do this leapfrog series, and I remember I told my opponent once. I told him leapfrog, and he threw him against the ropes, and I jumped up to the leapfrog, and he didn't duck down, and I ended up becoming a flying body scissors.
Oh no.
So yeah, you just got to work through it, and they called it like that, and the crowd got into it, but that wasn't what
Yeah,
it was supposed to be. That's what I'm saying. So, if you have a screw up, just got to keep rolling with it, right?
yeah, yeah. Just had to go with it. I love this we move here, the wee splash.
Well, was he the legal man in?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. I noticed they don't use. Do you guys use tag ropes at all for tag matches?
No, no. We
Yeah.
haven't used tag ropes.
I wonder if that's still a thing. It used to always be a deal. Have a tag rope you'd have to hang on to.
Yeah, you see it on TV a lot, but
Yeah.
I've never actually wrestled in a ring with them.
That
So
had them. Yeah. Um, Farrah McBride's got another question. We'll bring it in here while we're watching. Um, do you have any pregame rituals or lucky charms to get you through the match?
I usually just pray before the match and
Pray.
yeah, just pray. Pray that the show goes well, pray that the match goes well, and
Nothing
everyone
wrong with
stays safe.
that. Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
I remember one guy when I was in the PWA. He used to what he did. Had his girlfriend there with him, and he'd do acupuncture. He'd have all these needles in his back, and she'd be putting them
Oh,
in, and that's how he would get ready. Go on there
yeah.
and do an acupuncture session right there.
Oh, I couldn't think about that.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a history of you and your brother, right?
Yeah, so there's a wee cinematic bit at the start. They interview my family members as well, so you'll be able to see my granny, who just honestly, she's so into the wrestling. It's actually quite funny.
Can we hear it okay? Should I turn it up a little bit? I'll turn this up a little bit for this part. There we go, so we can hear it better.
In my mind, I don't think it's.
That's your grandma there?
That's her there, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool because, like, as I said, me and Jordan have fought like all the time on the trampoline outside. We've injured each other. We've had moments. We just like I've jumped off the roof before onto the trampoline. Like, it would go far, and it
Yeah.
was just like before this match, I was meant to be the heel, so I had to like compose myself because I was like, no, this is about to happen. I'm actually gonna fight my brother.
Yeah.
It was surreal because it's been a dream of mine for so long. So yeah, I had to compose myself.
And here's where you try to tell him to take him into the chair, but he's questioning it.
I like that little spot because I'm the younger brother. I'm more mature, while he's older and he knows what to do. So it really
Says
works.
he doesn't want the chair. That's a super kick into it. So that's the setup, right?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
We had an argument after this match, you see there, and we always argue with each other because we're brothers. Brothers argue all the time. So
Your best friends one minute, you hate each other the next.
yeah, and then your best friends again. It's
Yeah.
But I'd say this is one of my favorite matches just because of the premise of it. Because it's brother versus brother. It's something I've always wanted for so long. So
Sure. Yeah. So here we go.
see Canary Kids in the comments there.
Oh yeah, I see him there. I'm gonna bring this volume down just a little bit so we can hear ourselves.
No problem.
There. So yeah, Canary Kid in the house. He says, "Oh, what do you know? I won."
Yeah,
A little bit of bragging rights.
that sounds like him.
Yeah. He does have a question though. It's wait for it to pop in here.
Okay. Yeah.
I see it came up on YouTube. He says, question for Ben, if he plans to get a haircut.
Not anytime soon. The mold's still growing.
And Farrah McBride seconded that question.
No, the mullet's staying. It's never going away.
It's the 80s, man.
Exactly. Got to bring it back.
Yeah, it brings me right back to when we were doing this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem. So this is in the the Lion's Den or whatever. Is that what you call it?
The Lion's Den Dojo, yeah.
Yeah, Lion's Den Dojo.
It was quite funny because my whole family were in the crowd and they ate it all up, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, now you had mentioned to me, I don't know if we talked about this on the show or not, or if it was before the show started, but they're talking about coming out with some tag team belts for the league.
Yeah, hopefully sometime soon, yeah. I think my match, me and Jordan had a match against a guy called Samson Law, and we announced them there as well, so whenever they're there, we're ready for them.
Yeah. Do you enjoy, so you've done tag match, tag matches, there's an art to a tag match. You gotta, quick tags in and out, right? It's not just getting in there and doing all your stuff and then, tagging when you want, right?
Yeah, it's like me and Jordan have a structure, so it's just we do our shine, or usually I get a shine. We do loads of like quick tag ins, quick tag out, you know, get the moves in, the tag team moves in, show us off, and then obviously the cutoff, and then they get their heat in, and it just works. It's really simple, but like you can add whatever you want into it. It's great.
Because I was gonna say my question with that then is like, do you enjoy tag matches or do you enjoy single matches or both or is there a preference?
I enjoy both. Like I think the singles matches are fun because I get to do like my own stuff and my own moves,
Mm-hmm.
and like just kind of show myself off. Whereas I think tag matches are, a completely different thing where I get to spend time in the ring with my brother. It's just the way it is, so it's great.
So you pretty much you look up to your brother, right? I mean, as growing up
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good fit for you then, being in a tag match, tag team with him and everything.
yeah.
Well, we had this question earlier, but we'll take it again. ICDA World says, "Who is your most inspirational WWE wrestler and why?"
I'll say the Miz again. I think
The Miz.
honestly he is just the epitome of wrestling. Like you don't need wins or losses. It's all about how good you can make the other person look in the ring, and that's what I try to replicate.
Yeah. Yep. There's always somebody though that kind of like you said initially, like it strikes your interest. It's always that,
Yeah,
you know.
it was Dean Ambrose for me. I think just him being like just some crazy guy. I don't know why. I think it really popped to me. I was like, yeah, I like that guy.
I really liked the Shield back in the day. Like I thought that was cool when they were the way
Yeah,
they would enter the arena. You know.
yeah, it was really cool. It's like something different.
Yeah. I almost thought they broke it up a little too quick. I think they could have done that a little bit more, even.
Yeah,
Before they
but I think
decided.
the authority stuff worked really well too. I think Seth Rollins he ran with that as well as he could. I think he did really well with it.
Yeah.
And then like the storylines it brought up in the future as well. It just kind of they all gelled really well.
So what, did he give you a wet willy? It's almost like the brotherly rivalry
Yeah,
growing up, right?
yeah. Just the wet willies and nuggies, all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing this match on Keaton's channel with Keaton's commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now we don't have Keaton's commentary, but his commentary, so it really like he's like I remember him talking about that little scene we just seen there. He's like, "Oh, he can't do it. He loves his brother too much. He can't chop him hard."
And then you just rake the eyes. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and then you rake the eyes. Yeah, Keaton's really good at that commentating. I think he should do that when he's not wrestling.
He could do, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd make at least, even if he needs somebody to do it with, but I think he's good at it.
That's the thing. It's great to see like younger people still into wrestling because whenever I was younger, like everyone, I think there was like a year where everyone knew what wrestling was and everyone loved it, and then I was the only one in my school that liked wrestling.
Yeah.
So
Well, like
sorry, go ahead.
in Ireland though, like you don't like your school sports and stuff. You just have a handful, right? Like they don't do wrestling in school, right?
Yeah, there's no wrestling. I was into rugby before I did wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
which is good fun.
Yeah.
But you've got a whole handful. There's loads, and then the wrestling just wasn't a part of it. No.
Yeah. And then, but then like, so you're saying like people were into pro wrestling, but then all of a sudden they just lost interest after you got a few years older.
Yeah, it's as if they just grew up, like really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I always remembered what I always tell people when we were going to school and doing our thing, and because we were on cable, right, Ben? So like, and back there was no internet, so everybody, the only thing you had was cable, and so people would watch our show, and kids that didn't like wrestling gave you shit. They would just get on your case because they didn't like it. But the ones that liked it thought it was cool. But if they didn't, but have you run into that at school? You have people who don't like wrestling. Do they give you a hard time?
Yeah, I think when I started, they were like, "Oh, he's just doing wrestling. It's fake and all this."
Yeah.
But whenever I actually started doing it, and I started having matches, and I started actually like touring places, people were actually like, he's actually doing this for real.
Yeah.
Like, he's taking it far. So I think that kind of gets the respect of people too.
Ricky's got a question for you. He says, is there any wrestlers who inspired the character, or I guess the tag team of Dead Gorgeous?
Yeah, so not Ricky Henry, that's for sure. But I think Tyler Breeze, I really liked him when I was younger.
Yeah.
And that whole like gorgeous thing that he did, I think that was pretty cool. I loved it.
Because you said this was your idea, right? Dead Gorgeous?
Yeah, so we were actually just on the car ride home, and me and Jordan were like, "Oh, we need a team name. We need a team name." So I was like, "We watched Pretty Deadly a lot when we're watching WWE. We liked it, and I love Tyler Breeze, so I was like, here, Dead Gorgeous,' and we kind of took that and run with it."
Yeah, it works. And it's a good team, though. I think it's a great contrast to pure filth, you know?
Yeah, like it's the complete opposite, really.
Right, and you need that. You know, that's what makes a good rivalry. So,
Yeah.
and then maybe throw Ricky Henry and John McCann in the mix, and now you got 3 tag teams there.
You never know, like could happen.
Triple threat tag team match, huh?
Yeah, I'm up for it. Like up for anything. Like Ricky, I think he wants to join Dead Gorgeous deep down, but you can't let him.
Well, like I said, we'll have John on. John McCann will be on in a couple weeks. We'll talk to him. I'll be interested to see how it went for him over there too. So you never wrestled each other like in any of these matches, right? From the company, from NIPW, it was always against other people.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
London? Yeah.
In London it was really good fun. I think just the whole community of it, like just wrestling. I love it. Like it does.
So
Like
how did this get lined up? Like who got this set up for you?
Nathan was we were speaking about going over to England for like training, and the promoter who we worked for before had asked us, well, we've got shows over there. Do you mind coming over and doing the shows? So we decided to do the shows, and I think it was a good decision because it kind of got us the not the reps, but you know, more like confident with the crowd.
Yeah, sure. And then now Ricky didn't go. So is Ricky still in Canada?
He's just recently got back from Canada, so I was speaking to him earlier. I did miss him when he was in Canada, to be fair.
Yeah, because I know he was over there for a while, but he missed the whole London thing then.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got to, but he did. I don't know if he defended the title, but at least he had a match over there in Canada. So
yeah, he had a match over there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I really like this local vibe that you have going on here in these house shows.
Yeah, it's always the same people there. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing you'll notice whenever you're there. Like it is a real community.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like it's cool to see that we're building our own like foundation.
How does your brother feel about doing this match? Do he want to do it just as much as you?
He wanted to beat me up just as much as I wanted to beat him up. So yeah, it was really good fun.
Yeah. Well, here's a question from ICDA World. We talked about it a little bit, but he says, question for both of us. What's your opinion of kids doing backyard wrestling on YouTube?
Well, I just don't think it's smart. I don't think it's safe.
Yeah.
Like it's just but again, other people have, other aspirations and dreams. So if they want to do backyard wrestling, I say let them do it.
For me, for the current kid, this current stuff that you see now, I applaud their effort. They want to get involved. They want to be in it somehow, and I get it. I mean, I know the feeling, but I think there's better ways to go about it. There's enough.
Mhm.
There's enough places like you have in Ireland, even here in the United States now,
Yeah.
where kids can get involved, getting trained properly. And most of these places aren't asking for a whole lot of money to get trained as a kid.
Yeah, not really. It's only £60 a month, and it's honestly for me, it's the best £60 I could ever spend. So
Yeah, and that's like similar pricing here in the United States from the organizations I've talked with. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's not like it's expensive, and I just think it's a better option. I mean, I think if they really like it, they have a lot better opportunity when they get older if they go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think like training properly would definitely give you more of a foundation to wrestle like in bigger stages.
Hmm.
But like a
Especially
backyard,
in
it's
this
not
day and
really.
age. Especially in this day and age.
Yeah, like backyard wrestling is sometimes frowned upon because of how just dangerous it is and how stupid it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially when they start doing things like I'll tell you, the backyard wrestling I don't really even care for at all is the hardcore stuff that happened in the '90s.
Yeah, still happens now.
And it still happens, right? I mean, it's like it's
Yeah,
not gone away completely.
yeah,
Um, that stuff, and the reason I don't like it is because that's where people do get hurt,
hmm
and um, and they're picking up bad habits uh, that when some of these guys do try to get trained afterwards, they go through a lot of growing pains because they've learned things the wrong way, and
yeah.
it's just a real, and when that stuff gets embedded in you, it's hard to get away from it. So, and um,
It does leave you like with like permanent scarring. It is.
yeah, and that's it's just the whole reputation of it. Really, it's like
Yeah,
when we did our kids wrestling before backyard, we never got compared to any of that because that never existed. So nobody frowned on us. We
yeah,
didn't experience any of that. But now, if I were to try to do our NWF after backyard happened, it would be impossible. We
yeah.
would get labeled right away, right? So that's why I don't necessarily care for backyard wrestling. I guess. I mean, like I said, I applaud the. I understand the kids' dreams and wanting to do stuff. I get it.
Yep.
I just wish they'd go about it a little bit better, smarter way. So yeah. So now, who decided the finish on this one? Like,
I think it was just me. I said I'll take a power bomb, and he goes, "No, I'll get you two power bombs." And that was that was just some experience. Yeah.
so you said I'll put you over. You did no trouble taking the loss.
Oh no, not a problem.
Now, did Nathan leave that up to you guys, or did you?
I think
Were you
Nathan
told?
wanted him to win because it made more sense because he's the older brother and he gets one up on me,
Sure.
and then it could lead into something in the future too. Like so,
Yeah.
but those two power bombs were not nice.
Well, did you? I can't remember where you landed. Did you land in the corner of the ring?
I landed like at dead center in the ring.
So you're in the middle, so you had a little bit of bounce.
hmm It just didn't feel good at all.
No, knocked the wind
No.
out of you.
Oh yeah, first
Yeah.
one did, and then the second one just took it all out.
Yep. Um, Farrah McBride's got another question. We'll bring it in. What's the worst injury you had from wrestling so far, if you've had any?
I did bruise my ribs in a match a few weeks ago,
Bruise your
which
ribs.
was never nice. But like wrestling, I haven't really injured myself too bad.
How did you bruise your ribs?
I was going in for a hard buckle, and I kind of like slipped, and my ribs just went straight into the middle buckle.
Yeah,
So
rib stuff is no fun because every time you breathe, it hurts.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, rib, and there's not a whole lot they can do for it either. So
No, it's
just
just
gotta
let it
heal
heal.
through it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, um, well, Canary Kid says you allegedly dislocated your knee in training. What's that all about?
Yeah, so my knee does like it does sometimes just slip out of place, and
Really?
it is annoying.
That sounds like painful to me.
I think I did it when I was playing rugby, and
Yeah.
I wasn't actually playing rugby. I was just training for rugby, and I went over on my leg, and I was like, oh, I didn't know what happened. So I looked at my knee, and my knee was out, and I was like, I hated that. So when we were in training, we did a spot, and I was just feeding up, but we were like running. I was so like run down, my legs were so tired, and I went to feet up, and my knee, like I felt my knee go, and I freaked out because I hated it. It wasn't a great experience.
Now, does it hurt when it happens?
Not really. You just kind of
Mhm.
feel like it shift out. It just kind of shivers down your spine. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I've been fortunate. I never had any knee issues. I mean,
that's good. That's it.
during the wrestling stuff. Um, my dad was always telling me though, you're gonna pay for this when you get older. Your back's gonna pay for this. You keep doing this. He was not. My dad for me was like, he just didn't want me to keep. He was so afraid I was gonna get hurt or I was gonna get paid for it years later. So, but I don't know. I don't think it's bothered me. I mean, I did it for 7 years, and I
Yeah.
didn't. I don't really pay for it. I used to think that it was, but I think it was just once I get on the right vitamins and supplements, I've been fine. It's inflammation. As I just get older, everybody goes through it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I know that you and your brother had that match, but you've since teamed up. You've been doing tag matches though since.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just kind of a one-off brother against brother.
Yeah. And hopefully it happens again soon because I do like beating them up.
Now, do you have any other brothers, or is it just you and him?
So I've got a younger brother who's about 12, and I've got I think it's 5 sisters.
Oh, okay, big family.
Yeah,
So,
big family.
your younger brother is 12. Does he want to get
Yes.
involved in this?
It's quite funny because ever since he's seen us wrestling, like he's never really been really into it. He's always been into football.
Mm-hmm. Football,
But
meaning soccer, right?
yeah.
Yep.
But recently he's been coming downstairs and he's like been talking about Dominic Mysterio and all, and it's actually made me quite proud, like because it's good to see him getting into it.
Well, maybe he could try out those junior classes with Nathan, see if he even likes it.
Yeah, I think he'd be really interested in it, like because he just is a mini version of me and Jordan. Like it is like just me, Jordan, and Joshua are the same person really.
Right?
So it is just yeah. I think he'd really enjoy it. He's a fit kid too. Like he just runs about the place, so he's
Yep.
got the energy for it.
If you get him going, it'd be the three. It would be like the Guerrero brothers, Hector, Chavo, and Mondo. They were like a
Yeah,
all different age 6-man tag.
I think to bring him into it since he's so small at the moment. I think bring him in as Hornswoggle
Yeah.
under the ring.
It's funny. That's what I was telling Keaton. He's like saying, well, there's really nobody my size to have a match with. It's always the littler kids that he's been training with. I said, well, Keaton, then you do a handicap match. Take two of
Yeah,
those little guys against you. Then, it makes sense.
he'd be the little Big Show.
Yeah, a little big show. But so I'm trying to think now if I got all my questions. Like there was a few other ones I was going to ask you. So where do you like? Let's just where do you see yourself going in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you want to keep sticking with NIPW, or would you like to really venture off and try to really hit the indie circuit as you get
As much
older?
as I love NIPW and I love the community, I think it's just like it's always been my dream to make it big.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I could definitely see myself if I'm still working hard. I could definitely see myself somewhere.
To try to get into something.
Yeah, I think like even if it was like TNA or like one of the smaller companies,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd still like yeah. I think there's a great chance I could make it because you know everyone could make it. You just have to put the work in.
Yeah, I mean, look, sky's the limit, right? And it's all up to you. Like I tell everybody, you're the only one that's going to stop yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
As long as you've got the determination to make it, the sky is literally the limit. It's all and the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Always remember that. If
Hmm.
you try to get into TNA and they close, you get closed doors, you knock again. Eventually, you get somebody that listens to you. And it's always the you never want to give up on the first attempt, right?
Oh, never. Just keep
Yeah,
going.
just got to keep moving forward. I mean, and so like what is your ultimate goal in all of this?
Just I think to make a name for myself make myself proud, because I know my younger self would definitely be proud of me already. But knowing where I can take it, just go as far as I can with it, and
Sure.
just be an inspiration to like other younger people looking to get into wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's a new era here with you guys being able to start out young. I mean, this has never used to be a thing. I mean, every now and then you get people that are 16 or whatever starting out, but for the most part, you had to be 18 or older to get
Yeah,
involved,
yeah,
and it was real rarity to start out under that age, professionally, with the big leagues.
yeah, yeah.
Um, we got some questions. Let's see. And I guess I don't want to miss them all. Let's see. They're going by quick. Let me just get caught up. Okay, Ricky says this. How does it feel being the Robin to Canary Kid's Batman?
Yeah. To be honest, it feels good. He's the best mentor I could ever ask for, even if he is a bit cocky at sometimes.
Well, look, here's the thing. Canary Kid wouldn't be Canary Kid without that attitude.
Oh,
So that
definitely not.
just has to go with the territory. So it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Here's a question from Farrah McBride for both of us. Would you fight John Cena or Dwayne? I think she means Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I think I'd fight John Cena because he's just the greatest of all time in the sport, in my opinion.
A little bit over the hill now, though, right? Like he's not the same,
He's not what he used to be, but
right?
I think still being given the chance to be in the same ring as John Cena would be an honor. Like,
It would be cool. For me, I'm done, guys. I retire. I'm not going back in the ring. If I could go back as my younger self, yeah, that would be cool. But no, I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to get in there anymore. Look, I'm just too old, and I know you can do it at any age. Look at Ric Flair, but
true.
uh, you know, I enjoy watching it more and talking about it than I do actually getting in the ring anymore. Um, and then let's see, Canary Kid again says, what's he saying here? What places have you wrestled in and out of them, and which was your favorite experience?
I'd say Portugal was one of my favorite experiences because just the crowd were really into it. It was like being in a football stadium, like a soccer stadium. Like the crowd were chanting, they were cheering. Like every punch you hit, every like tiny thing you did, they just really fed into it, and I think it was great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems like I've heard that too. I think Ricky said he really enjoyed that stuff over there too.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
worked great over there. He worked heel over there, and
yeah,
uh, just everyone hated him. We were even like walking out of the venue, and you had people shouting over the street at him.
yeah.
Like he did his job. It was good.
And let me see. Comments are rolling by so fast. Oh, Canary Kid says, not cocky, I'm honest. All caps. Yep.
He is a
And
very
then
honest person.
and then he says, or let's see. Oh, they're just talking with each other. Okay, we're all caught up on that. Um, so yeah, but yeah, that's now like I told, when I was interviewing Ricky, he was saying like, he really, because NIPW has given him so much, he just can't see himself really leaving, right?
Mm.
Or just abandoning. But like I always say, if one of you guys can make it somewhere and you can kind of get over, you're doing Nathan a huge favor.
Yeah, like that's the plan. Like I think
Yeah,
the best thing for me would be making it big and promoting what made me get to that place.
right.
So I think NIPW would be top of that list because it's where I started, and it's yeah, the community there is great.
I think it's just a matter of time, really. I think one of you guys, somebody's going to make it somewhere here.
Hmm.
I think you guys all have the right heart and right attitude, and I think you're gonna get your foot somewhere, in the next 5 years. And it'll be interesting to see, where that is and how that happens.
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
So Ricky's got a good question actually. He says, "What's Ben's short-term goal? Not long-term, just short-term goal."
Short term would just be more confident in the ring. I think just being more confident in the ring with my own ability, and just being able to show that, to demonstrate that, like in front of crowds. Yeah,
Right, and that'll come with time. I mean, the more matches, the more experience, the more that'll just happen. I mean, you'll get that. Time heals that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Farah's got a question. Says, uh, "Where is your dream place to wrestle?" I mean, isn't that kind of talked about Portugal, right? Is that?
Yeah, that was great. Portugal
Well,
was great.
no. I guess let's think about this. Dream place meaning you could go anywhere.
We see. I'd love to obviously go to America and make it over there with like the WWE. I mean, sure, wouldn't we all?
Right.
But I think just main eventing in like my home stadium, like the SSE Arena
Sure.
in Belfast. I think like having a show there, like that would be just like it would be perfect because the crowd would be into it. Like it would just be so cool to be able to wrestle in front of my friends and family.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
love it.
And then coming to America, maybe not getting into a big headliner, but you could make it somewhere. Like you get some spot on an indie show somewhere in one of the more prominent indie leagues over here.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, um, I think that would be cool. Like I've talked to folks in Michigan, they've got a good program going. I'm sure you guys could get in there. Future Stars of Wrestling in Las Vegas. There's definitely places you can get into if you ever
yeah.
made it over here, where you could get your feet wet.
I
And
think for
that
definite, it's definite in the future. We'll definitely be coming over sometime
yeah,
because like it is really the holy land for wrestling. Like there's everything over there.
yeah. There's so many. I mean, America's big, so there's 4 time zones here.
Hmm.
Um, there's just so many pockets of indie wrestling. So it's everywhere.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, I'm talking to a guy, a former, I think it was with TNA, Sean Hernandez. He's training a young kid right now, and he's going to be coming on here, and hopefully in September, I'm going to get him and this guy on and talk about what they're doing. They're in San Antonio, so I'm
yeah. It's
I'm
great.
I'm I'm just learning. There's just more and more little areas where they're doing like younger guys like yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
getting you guys going. So I think that's great.
I think it is good because like my brother, he's 25 and he's jealous. I've got an 8 year start on him. Like I think getting into it this young is just so important as well.
All right. Like when I talked to that Bodie Young prodigy over there in Las Vegas, he started out when he was 8 and
Hmm.
trained from that point on. And now
Yeah,
he's 17. But he's got all them years, of experience, and it shows. He's definitely polished. But well, here's a question. If I don't ask this one, I'm going to hear it from my partner, Dixie Dave. Do you have a backup plan? Like if the wrestling doesn't make it, is there a backup plan for you that you could do or that you'd want to do?
not really. No, I just think wrestling is the only thing that I've ever wanted to do.
Well,
It's
I
the only
get
thing
it.
that ever really I've had an interest in.
Well,
I
the
think.
reason though he asked this question, let me explain it better, is because what happens if you get hurt? What if a life
Mm,
career-ending injury?
yeah,
That's where he's mainly coming from with that question. You know,
I think I'd definitely still be involved in the wrestling as much as I can.
right? Even if
Like,
it isn't in the ring.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then also I do love sport and stuff and all that. So I think being a PT or something, I think that could work too.
Are you fairly athletic in school? Did you do a lot of the
I
sports
wasn't
and
the most athletic. I was usually just a skinny kid that played rugby, but
right?
I wasn't bad at it. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, when you're in wrestling, you're kind of in this like you're not a jock,
no,
because you're not athletic enough for that, but then you get and you're also not, in the drama class,
yeah,
because you're too athletic for you. So you're kind of this weird place in between, You know, in professional wrestling, there's a little bit of drama. There's a little bit of obviously athleticism, right?
Yeah. I think people don't realize how hard wrestling actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd 100% like have people come down and try it and be like, look, that's what I do on a weekly basis.
Right. Well, your body gets callous to, you know, after you take bumps for a while, you get used to it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And when you people that come along that have not done that before, you know, they're not used to it. And
no,
I remember I used to have kids when I'd have the ring set up in our backyard because we were doing a training session or whatever. And the other kids that weren't on our show would come in and they'd look at the ring and they'd see this, you know, these are the springs back in the day. They have a spring in the middle.
yeah,
That's how we get our bounce. And they'd see in that and they're like, oh, look at, you got a spring there. No wonder it's not going to hurt at all. And I'd always invite them up, you know, and I'd say, let me show you how it works. And I'd body slam. Usually the body slam would be a good one or a suplex, but the body slam. And they weren't, you know, if you're not expecting a body slam, as you know, it's, you're not expecting it, knocks the wind right out of you. And
yeah, yeah.
that's spring or no spring.
I think even with that, like, that people don't realize how the holds that they actually do in wrestling are
Right.
real as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was speaking to a guy called a wrestler called Johnny Kincaid. Whenever I was in England, and he was telling me, like, anytime anyone told him wrestling was fake, he just put them in a wrist lock properly, and they didn't say it again.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a kid do a figure four leg lock in the ice back in, we used to ice skate in Minnesota. Everybody did. Some kid was giving him trouble, you know, saying it was all fake. That's what we used to, that's what we'd hear the most, Ben, is people that accuse us of it being fake.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's just so aggravating to hear. And this one kid, he's like, oh, it's fake. Let me show you. And he put a figure four leg lock on the kid and he made sure he felt it.
yeah.
It's like one of those things. You can do these moves two ways, right?
You can do it
And
the safe way, or you can actually hurt them.
right. And
Like,
that kid,
Ricky's got a great front face lock. Like, if he ever puts you in that, it's dangerous.
yeah. Well, even just the general sleeper hold, you can
Yeah.
put somebody to sleep.
Mhm.
I mean, you can put them go unconscious pretty easily.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I think
designed.
people just don't realize.
Yeah.
People don't realize how real it actually is.
Yeah. No, I don't. I hear you, and you know, and that's, you know, and that's why I know that for us, when we had kids that would come in that had some amateur wrestling background, it always helped. You know, they were a little bit easier to get familiar with it,
Yeah, yeah.
or any other kind of being athletic helped.
Mhm.
You know, just
Being
for
involved
the
in sports, I think
sure
just
all of
any.
that.
Like, I think just having that background helped me for sure. Because, like, I see, like, you see some people come into training sometimes and they might not have had that background, and it just takes them a lot more work than what it would take someone with the sport background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And uh, Canary Kid Ricky's got a question. He wants to know, what's your funniest story from your time in wrestling? Something funny.
I don't really
I
know.
mean, when Ricky
There's been
Henry,
loads.
when Canary Kid's trunks ripped, maybe.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think
Had to pull that one on Ricky. I had to get that one out there.
he does. I think he wants me to say something about him here, so I'm gonna try my best not to.
I just did for you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I don't know. I think I just be like having the community there. You can all joke with each other. It's
Yeah.
it's good fun. I
Do you
wouldn't really
guys?
have a specific
Do you
moment.
guys? You know, back in the day, the old timers and stuff, they always used to rib each other. Ribbing was a big thing. Do you guys
Yeah,
do any of that at a local level?
yeah. We just honestly like would tell each other things like just for the fun of it. Really, like I remember Nathan telling me in Portugal. Uh, he goes, "Oh, you got a return book," and I was like, "Did I?" And he's like, "No," and it was just funny.
Yeah. Here's a long one. Let's see. I didn't even read all this. Let's just read it as we bring it in. Ricky says, "Does Ben have a favorite?" I love the way you guys spell favorite, by the way, European style. Favorite match from all the shows he's been a part of, as in matches he's watched, not just his own. And please say one of mine.
I will give Ricky props. He did have a great match against John on the show in October, the
Yep.
Halloween show
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
title.
we watched that one, I believe, when he was on with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was such a cool match because like we had trained with him, like you just it felt more like alive. Really, it was a great match.
Was that the one that like was really like kind of like the crowd really got into that one? Was that like the to decide the first ever champion or whatever?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the yep. Yeah, I know he talks a lot of that match himself. So,
yeah, he likes it. You're welcome,
and
by the way, Ricky.
Canary Kid, Crusher with a K, that is an insult. I'm not Crusher Khrushchev. Bringing up the trunks too far. Yeah. Yeah, that's the Russian style Crusher there. Um, but yeah, so by the way, have you guys ever had a Russian gimmick? Like, is there ever a Russian like we always had a Russian character in our stuff. Always seemed like that was always a regular thing.
No, we never had a Russian gimmick.
No
I actually
Russian
do
gimmick.
know. I do know Ricky had a. He was meant to have a French gimmick before he had the Canary Kid gimmick,
Yeah, I
and he
think
was
he
like
talked about it.
he's called like Benjamin Sweet, and he used to smell the candles and all. It's pretty funny.
And then Ricky says, does Ben have a favorite move to do in the ring?
Yeah, I just love doing the Hurricane Rana. Just being able
Right.
to jump up on someone's shoulders is it comes natural to me. So it's
Yeah,
really easy.
we talked about it. And yeah, I mean that's and that's just it. You always kind of get those favorite things you like to do. And now do you have like what's your finisher then? Like what would be your finishing move?
I've never actually finished anyone with the finishing move, so I don't technically have a finisher, but just a twist of fate.
Twist of fate. That
I'll
would
do
be your
that.
finisher then, if you were to
Yeah,
get the okay, if it came down to that was you're gonna go over, that's
yeah.
kind of the move you do. Yeah. Yeah, that's Canary Kid has got another one in here. Let's see. He says, does Ben have anything to say about his relationship with John McCann's cousin? Who's that?
That's just another rib from Ricky. Really, he's trying to be funny.
Well, I was gonna say like I didn't know John McCann had a cousin.
He does, but I've got nothing to do with her. So
Oh, so it's a female.
yeah, he thinks he's funny.
Okay, relationship with John McCann's cousin. All right. Um, like I said, we're going to talk to John McCann when we go on our next program in 2 weeks, and that'll be an interesting conversation. What is John? He's like 18 now.
He's 18 now, yeah.
Yeah, but he started out fairly young, like the rest of you.
14,
So
I think, yeah.
yeah,
He's great though. He's fantastic for his age. He's unbelievably strong as well. It's mind blowing.
yeah. I mean, he's got that very stocky wrestler build.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Ricky said, though, he was very round in the beginning. He didn't like he really grew out of that
yeah. He
look.
was a he
His
was a wee
early,
chubby man at the start. Like
yeah. What did Nathan say? They called him like marshmallow or marshmallow type
the
form.
Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Yeah, but he's certainly. And I think Ricky was saying when we were tied both of them on, Ricky was saying like I don't know how he does it. He drinks pop and doesn't
Oh,
eat.
he eats so much. He eats the
Yeah,
most
it's like
random stuff.
but all that stuff, you guys, that'll catch up to you when your metabolism slows down. Believe me. So
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
it. Enjoy it while you got a good metabolism. I don't
I'm
know.
the same. I'd eat so much. Like I'd eat too much sometimes, and I still wouldn't gain anything. So I'm happy.
I remember there was a guy in the PWA. His name was Red Tyler. He actually went on. He actually made it to the WWF. He was, a jobber guy.
Hmm.
But he was always, trying to be physically fit, and he would eat. All he would eat, as I remember talking to him, was his diet was tuna fish. He'd just eat tuna fish. That's
Mm,
it. Tuna fish sandwiches, tuna fish this, tuna fish that, and that was his big high protein diet that he was doing. He was really physically fit guy, but he was
yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't stick to
no.
one food.
It's just tuna fish. I'm thinking, how can you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but Yeah, this has been a great interview, though. Now, is there anything else you want to say that I didn't get to that we or talk about that we didn't cover?
No, not that I can think of.
I mean, I think you kind of covered all the bases, like what you want to do, and
Yeah,
I think it would be cool to see one of you guys show up here in the United States somehow, some way, shape, or form. Down the
yeah,
line. If you really want to, like, if your aspirations is to get into the WWE, you've got to make a mark over here somehow.
yeah. It really is like the main place you want to be.
Right, whether it be NXT or TNA or even AEW,
Yeah.
or Ring of Honor. I think that's still a thing. Um, what is this? Um, oh, Canary Kid again. He says, "Does Ben have any pet peeves in wrestling? Things that bug you?"
Being in the ring with Ricky. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, no, just honestly, when someone just doesn't smell good.
Body odor. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get it whenever you've been sweating loads, but whenever you've just came in and you don't smell amazing, that just I can't work with it. Like
Yeah, and there's guys that had that's always been a problem with. I can remember.
yeah,
Sometimes you got those guys. What do you do?
but you got to work through it. Yeah.
Yep. The headlock's the worst.
Oh,
Yeah.
always. Or the leg scissor.
Or leg scissors. Yep. Yep. And I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's always the bigger guys that seem to have a problem. The bigger, heavier guys.
We've never really worked with that many like heavier guys. If they were heavier, they were built really like they were built. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've never really had that problem with them.
I remember one time I actually had to have a conversation with a guy. I said, "Dude, you got to get a stick of deodorant. You got to use it. I'm not trying to offend you." And I was a one-on-one conversation,
Yeah.
but I said, "You got to do this, man. You can't be like otherwise. It's not gonna. Other people were complaining.
Mhm.
So you just don't want to embarrass them. I just had the conversation one-on-one off to the side,
Yeah,
but
it's always the best way to do it. Like, because you don't want to like say it out loud in front of people.
yeah.
Because
But once I remember had that conversation, it wasn't a problem again. So sometimes people just don't realize it. People don't realize it. I think too. They're used to their
yeah,
own,
you
and they
can be
don't.
nose blind to it.
Yep, their nose blind exactly. Um, but guys, let's do this. We're gonna probably get close to the end here, so let me talk about what we're gonna have coming up here on our next shows, which involves you, Ben. Um, but before we get to, well, I guess we'll talk about that one first, since that's going to be coming up next on Sunday on our Kayfabe with Keaton with Wrestling Revolution Keaton. I do that other podcast with him. It's his show,
Yeah,
and you and your brother are going to be on with us
that's
on
right.
Kayfabe with Keaton. Yeah, that'll be on Sunday. Oh, let me get Canary Kid's comment blocking this.
I know you can't
How
have him
dare
there. Like he ruins it.
how dare he do that? There we go. Live on Sunday, August 18th, and that's 8 o'clock your guys' time over there in Ireland, but here in the United States, we're talking about 3 p.m. Eastern or noon Pacific. It'll be Ben and Jordan Nelson. We get to talk to both of these guys, and that'll be another great conversation. We'll get your brother's perspective on all of this,
Yeah,
and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. See, for some reason, I always thought your brother was in this longer, but what you're saying is you guys both pretty much started at the same time, huh?
yeah. So he didn't really have anything that he did like like hobby wise, and I think wrestling. Like I think he saw it as like oh I don't know if I'll like this. I don't know if like I'll be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he went into it, he just kind of fell in love with it. Same with me, and we can't think of doing anything else.
So now I should have asked this, but Ricky was your mentor. Who was your brother's mentor?
So it was Chris Mercer.
Oh, Chris. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a
But
great guy. I really enjoyed talking to Chris Mercer when we had him on Kayfabe.
yeah, Chris is a good guy. He's great. He's good.
So that's a good guy to have as a mentor.
Mhm.
So then, and then a week from tonight, everybody will be on our normal time again, and our show we're going to watch on NWF Rewind is going to be the first Armory show we're going to do and fully restored. This was the last Armory card we did, our Superstar Spectacular 87 show from the Anoka Armory. This was a great show, you guys. This was the last show I fully promoted, and when I was fully in charge of the league before I, sold it off to Ernie Ellis, Dirty Ernie. He took it over after this event. But so for me, this one's a special one because it was our last, big show we did under my umbrella, and it was a lot of fun. I was 17 years old, and it was just a great time. And the Anoka Armory was just a fun place to have matches. It's kind of like your when you talk about Portaferry or whatever that was, that venue that you guys like. Yeah, it was same thing with the Anoka Armory for us. We really loved it here. And it's going to be a long one. I mean, that's a 2-hour show, but in that picture there, of course, that's me drop kicking Kelsey, and he claims he dislocated his jaw in that drop kick in this picture, but I don't know. I think that's just Kelsey. That just sounds good years later. I don't know if I really dislocated his jaw, but is what it is. Yeah. But it looked good on camera. I definitely tapped him. I just don't think I dislocated his jaw.
No, Ricky's the worst for that.
Is he?
Yeah, just see with the super kicks. He doesn't tap you. He just hits you.
Well, like I said, a super kick is hard. It's 1 foot, and it's hard to, but the drop kick's a little bit more easier. But to Kelsey's credit, though, those bottoms of those wrestling boots, is Ricky using wrestling boots?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so the bottoms of those boots are hard as a rock. So if you do get even tapped with them, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So part of the territory, right?
It's all part of the game.
So since Ricky does get kind of close, and then connects or whatever, has anybody wound up with a bloody nose or a fat lip or anything like that?
No. I think everyone likes it more when they actually hit you. It's easier to sell.
Right.
So I think it actually just makes it better.
Now you had matches with DD Crooks. Did he do his open hand slap with you, where he slaps you?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It rang my bells. I felt like I had like birdies going around my head. It was whoa. Yeah, that was a good slap.
Ricky said it would get him angry. Every time he do that.
I didn't because before the match he's like, "All right, I'll slap you here," and I was like, "Yeah, no worries." And the first thing he does is just wind it up and really hit me, and I was like, "Okay, yeah." That woke me up.
You ever give him any receipts? Did a lot of give him any taps back or?
Not really. No, I just kind of went on with the match because that's the way it works, really.
Right. It's just as part of his gimmick, and it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that then, but I do now.
We used to call it, I think the term back in the day was spudding. Like you'd spud somebody. So in other words, if somebody messed up or did a spot wrong, you'd give them a clothesline, you'd hook them, and you'd let them know. It's called
you did that wrong,
spud them, yeah. And that was your way of letting them know, don't mess it up again. You just do it once. That's what guys used to do back in the day. So, but yeah, I think now though you guys are a little bit better trained and you don't have those hiccups like that as much.
Well, not as much, but if they do happen, you'll know about it because they'll either make fun of you or they'll stiff you. So
yeah, be a little stiff. So, yes, I asked Ricky that. Have you been in the ring with somebody that's been stiff?
No, not really. No.
Like on this tour you did in London, anybody stiff over there?
No, I love the tour over in London. I think everyone I worked over there was just perfect. Really, I never really had a problem with them.
Yeah. I mean, that's good, but you are going to run into those people. Like I said, with the kind of the common theme here is, when you do get in a ring with somebody who's either less inferior, not as good as you, or somebody who's being a spot monkey, only worrying about themselves, not really giving a crap about the match. You get those kind of guys now and then.
Yeah.
You just got to be the bigger man and just do your job and, do your part.
Be professional.
Yep. That's the best attitude to have. Not try to, because I know there's guys that'll, when they get in a ring with somebody who's doing this, they'll do the same because they're pissed. and then you just get this lackluster match that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
That's what ends up, and that's not what you want.
No, you want your match to look as good as it can, like so.
Yep. Yeah, I used to, like I said, when I used to have my matches, I didn't care who it was. I would sell for whoever it was. I didn't care if somebody kicked me or whatever. I'd fly back and really sell it.
Yeah.
Or somebody hit me, I'd really sell it. I wanted it to be believable. I don't care who it was.
I get a match,
and that's the fun, isn't it? To me, it's fun selling for somebody.
Oh yeah.
Really making it look good.
That was good. It was good fun whenever I was selling for Samson, because he's just a really big guy, and I'm a little guy, so he just kind of threw me about, and I enjoy it. Like, it's good fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, it's almost like back in the day we used to, before we did wrestling, we used to stage fights. Me and my friend that started the show, we would stage fights in front of the public, and we would get everybody convinced that we were in a fight, and we weren't.
Yeah. I remember doing that in school.
Yeah.
Someone hit me with a super kick, and I just fell back and sold it. And the head teacher walked past at the time, and they actually thought that they kicked me, and we had to explain that it didn't happen.
Right. And that's kind of a form of professional wrestling. You're selling, right? It's the illusion. You're making people think.
One of the most important bits, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Well, it's been great, Ben. I hope you enjoyed being on the show, and
it's been an honor.
Just I'm gonna run the ending credits. Just stick with me until they're done, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And if you're watching this, if you're listening to this on Spotify or iHeart or wherever Apple Podcasts, remember, if you come on YouTube, we're live every other Thursday on Forward. You can catch these live and ask your questions live. So always remember, catch us live on YouTube. So Ben, it's been great. I hope you enjoyed it. And
yes, thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to seeing you again on Sunday with Jordan.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. And then for the rest of the guys on NWF, Dave and I will be back next Thursday with that big watch along with that Armory show, Superstar. We call it Superstar Spectacular. It's funny, none of us were superstars, but the name had a great sound, so that's why we called it. That's why the event was called that.
Always sounds better.
Always, yep. Make yourself bigger than what you are. All right, folks, we will be back. I guess Sunday. We'll see us next on Kayfabe with Keaton with Ben again and his brother. So I hope you enjoyed the show, folks. We will see you either Sunday or Thursday.